So I think, as the Prime Minister said, we know this is really tough. It is really tough on young people. You know, we're taking away some of the release of restrictions and going back a little bit, so it's really tough. It's also going to be more challenging for the police because actually we're really busy now. Our normal demand's back. It wasn't during the time of lockdown, so we're trying to balance what our approach is to support this health emergency with normal business. And so I think what we would say is this: we will carry on the work we've been doing on these very large gatherings that we've seen. We've had some huge success here in the West Midlands about reducing those, and that will be a particular priority. The public have been generally amazing. We see that when we go. Most people are complying with the regulations. We need to be clear about that. The things we've seen, of course, we saw this big rise in large unauthorised music events, gatherings, raves, barbecues. And we've seen those really curtail because of the operations the force is doing. And of course, we've got enhanced powers now with £10,000 fixed penalties. So we've seen those drop away. We've been targeting public transportation. Yes, we have seen that lax a little bit, and we've been back in that space. And so, clearly what we will still be doing is trying to encourage people to follow it. Generally, when the police ask people to wear a mask, they do follow it, so we don't have to issue a fixed penalty. But clearly we are going to have to strike that balance to make sure that the restrictions are more closely adhered to in the areas of greatest risk. Young people find this very tough. We've got students coming back to university. We've got all those pressures of young people want to get out there and socialise. So of course that's a pressure. And we were targeting particularly large gatherings a number of weeks ago. And of course what we know about the data is we see a little bit of lag, don't we, between potential infections and actually people becoming infected and testing. And so some of that work we were doing a few weeks ago, I hope will pay off in the long term. It will be the work we continue to do to target large groups. Unquestionably, young people are finding this the hardest of all to comply with. So we've got to kind of work with them. We've got to try and encourage them to follow the rules. Yes, of course, we will still enforce. But I think we've been generally targeting those areas of greatest risk, and we'll carry on doing that.